YouTube, it's your girl Sanaya. Welcome back to another video. Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing wonderful. I'm doing great. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sanaya. You can go back to my other videos to learn a little bit about me. If you don't know any of my socials, I'm going to put it right here so you can follow me. And let's get into it. So today, we're going to be talking about daddy wounds, daddy issues. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. I know some people have daddy issues. In the world, people normalize their dad not being in their life and only being in their life for certain reasons, but not actually being there for their kids. I'm going to tell you my story on what I experienced with my father. Give y'all some information so y'all can take it with you to heal from it, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to carry that in the future. You know, you want to actually be better than them, your parents. You want to be better than your parents. You don't want to carry the same wounds to the next generation and then you're just like your father or you're just like your mother. You don't want to do that. I feel though as everyone should take the time in their life to heal that. Just figure out what was the real reason on certain things and just take that and learn from it. Don't hold it to your chest, because when you hold it to your chest, that's when things start to fall out of place, because you still choose to hold that wound that was already broken. Your father is not going to fix it. The only person who could fix it is you. Everybody's situations are different. So some people might have that bond with their father where they could overcome it together, and some people don't. I'm going to tell y'all my situation, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay. When I was a baby, I used to live with my father's, not mother, but like his stepmother. But it was someone that took me in and helped my father and my parents to take care of me when I was little. But when I was younger, he was in jail. So he came to see me when I was like around like I think 6 or something like that, and I didn't really know him. Fast forward, I started to see him more, and I started to have a bond with him. You know, I will go with him, I will live with him, but he will live with his great grandmother. She needed help, so he was taking care of her. So I would come over, you know, I would say hello, and I would stay in the room that stayed the night in. So I would go there, you know, I watch TV, and you know, always chill, cool, you know. But my dad always had like personal situations going on with him, you know. Like, I don't know the full story of his situation. I know only what I know. I noticed how he ended up having me and my brother around the same time. So he got 2 girls pregnant around the same time. And we need to stop normalizing that as a good thing, because it's not. It's not going to get you nowhere, okay? It's not. Men want to blame the mothers because of what they did, what they choose to do. So they want to put it on the mother for the outcome. And I feel like the situation was like 50-50, because I guess when he did come out of jail, the 2 baby mothers, which is my mom and my brother's mom, they took him to court so he could pay child support. And remind you, he didn't even have money. They took him to court, and as him going up, he was struggling financially. If he did have it, it was because he was either with a female. It wasn't by himself. It wasn't by himself. He always needed a female. It worked out for a little bit sometimes, but then some reason it just falls apart. I was a daddy's girl, so I was always wanted to see my father, but it was like he would never really try to make a lot of plans. He will make some type of plans here and there, but it wasn't no consistent plans. I know there was times where I did live with him, and you know, he bought clothes for me and my brother. We used to stay at his house. But then I noticed how he used to treat us some type of way. I just didn't like the fact how he was treating us. But I still had that type of father bond, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter if he didn't see me a lot, no matter if he couldn't see me a lot, I always still had that, you know, father bond where I'm like, I'm still daddy's girl. So fast forward, my mom will say certain things to make me not like my father, but I wouldn't believe it. Like, I would deny her, like, you know, like, no, and stuff like that. You know, as time go forward, I remember, like, he wouldn't text me. It was a couple times when I was younger when he didn't post me on my birthday, and my mom would be like, you see, look, he didn't post you on your birthday. So she would put it in my face like, oh, he's not posting me on my birthday. So I always was curious, why is my dad not in my life like that? So I will text him. He told me that I'm the child, I have to text him first in order us to communicate. Y'all don't know how that made me feel at all, because it's like, what do you mean? You're a grown-ass man. I didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, if you really truly wanted a bond with your child, you will text them. You will check up on them. You will ask them if they're okay. Even if you're far away distance, you will still want to have a bond with them, even if you're distant. So I'll call him deadbeat and all these names because that hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I was young. I'm like in middle school, elementary school. So the fact that, you know, you could say something like that to the daughter, and I even got confirmation from other people. I'm like, you know, should the kid text the father, you know what I'm saying, first all the time? And they're just like, no, the father should be checking up on you. And that's what I thought too. But you know, no matter of what it was, I always checked up on him. And if I thought about him, I was checking on him. I would text him, oh, hi, how you doing? It wasn't a two-way street. It was always, I have to text him because he's the parent. Like, you're a grown-ass man. So as time go by, me and my mom end up having issues. I was staying at my cousin's house, and then me and my cousin end up clashing. So around that time, my father was trying to make amends with me, to come back in my life to fix things. And I was down for it because of what the situation was going on with my mother and with my cousin. So I didn't have anywhere to stay. I was only in high school. Yeah, I was going to high school. I was in high school. I didn't have nowhere to stay, so I had no choice to take that risk to live with my father. And so when that time happened, he gave me a place to stay. But mind you, at first I thought it was his house, but it was really my aunt's house, which is his sister. She ended up moving to North Carolina, and she ended up letting him stay for just a couple months. And I didn't know that until I left his house. But I'm thinking that it was his house, meaning everything is his house, because he made it seem like that was his house, that he wasn't leaving that house, that was his permanent house. I didn't know that at that time. So, you know, I'm going there, I'm living there. He's like, you know, you can have this room and you can have this room. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm living there. I meet a friend. He ended up getting me a job at Sonic. So I ended up working for Sonic for a little bit, and I ended up going to Franklin High School. And I went to Franklin High School, and then I was just chilling. I was like by myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know nobody, so I was really to myself. I met a couple people though where I can talk to, but I wasn't the type of person where I'm like everybody's friend. Like, no, I say to myself. When I come back home, my dad, he will go to work in New York. He would take the bus there, or he would get rental cars. I get in there, you know, I'm fixing up my room. So we had chores. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the chores was, he was saying like, okay, I'm gonna take out the garbage every day and you wash the dishes every day. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I didn't have a problem with that. He was saying like, you know, because you're the lady or whatever. And I'm like, okay. The only thing that what got me, it was just like the times where I didn't have any dishes or I didn't even eat, I still had to wash the dishes. I felt like it wasn't fair because he would try to argue with me on that. Like, you're supposed to be washing the dishes. You're the lady of the house. You're the lady of the house. But I'm just like, first of all, we both can do it. We both can take out the garbage and we both can wash the dishes. We're not doing that. Oh, you're gonna wash the dishes every day because I said so and you live here. No, that's not fair to me. Oh, because you need to learn how to be a wife. You need to learn how to be a woman in the house. First of all, yes, I'm gonna learn that. But you're not going to treat me that way and make it seem like that's a good way to do it. It's different ways you can get your daughter or your son to do chores, but you don't do it that way. You feel me? And it was crazy because like I was doing the dishes, but then I would come home and it's a rack of dishes and I'm just like, yo, this is not even my dishes. And he was still trying to fight with me like, no, you gotta do it this. Like, what? And that's when I got mad because it was like every day and it wasn't fair. And it was just sick to me. He didn't even have food. He wouldn't even go food shopping for real. He will get 3, 4, 10 things and that's it. No food at all. So I had to call my mother. Sister will go shopping and she'll bring food for me. You know what I'm saying? And got me detergent. When that happened, now my dad is like, oh, can I make this? Can I make that? You know, I'm like, okay, cool. But you know how some people are, and it's like certain things, it's my shit. Like, don't touch my shit. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you don't want certain people to touch, you know? And it wasn't like, oh, I'm being stingy, because no, I let him eat the food that my mother bought for me. Even the cake, it was cake. It was his favorite cake, but I ended up getting it for me, you know? And when he asked for it, I'm like, cool, you can have some. Every time I turn my head, the cake is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Like he's tearing my shit up. So I'm like, we're not about to do this. So I took my cake in the room. He was like, damn, you ate all that cake? I'm like, no. And then he ended up seeing it on my dresser. He was like, hey, let me get a piece. I'm like, you're demolishing my food. Be grateful that I'm even giving you a slice of my cake. He thought that I have to just give it to him because I'm living underneath his roof. And so he had a fit with me like, oh, you really acting like that? For real? For real? That's how you gonna act? Over a piece of fucking cake? Are you dead ass? Our relationship started to go downhill. I used to go to work, you know, and he was to take me to go to work at first. He wanted me and my brother to live with him, or even just to have a safe place to stay. One time when my brother came to the house, we went to the store to get him a blow-up bag, and he knew I had money. He knew I had like $1,300 in my account. So when we go to Walmart, he's like, Sanaya, you pay for the blow-up bag. You got it. You the big sister. Huh? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's fucking crazy. But I did it anyway because guess what? I'm just a nice person. I have a nice soul. And so I still did it for my brother. It was just the fact that it's like, you're a grown man. You're the provider. So the fact that you're asking your daughter to pay for your son's blow-up bed and he's staying at your house, it's crazy. But guess what? I didn't let that bother me or anything. I was still happy that everybody is sleeping good. I will go to work though, because I would have to get dropped off. So he would drop me off and pick me back up. There was one time where my dad ended up picking me up from work. I was getting free food, you know, so sometimes I'll give him some, and you know, sometimes I couldn't get a lot of food, so I'll just, you know, eat so I can have something to eat for that night. One time my brother was with him because he went to do the drive-through, so they was waiting for me to come out. So I come out with food. My dad had food, and I looked in the back and I see my brother didn't have food, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, you don't get no food? My dad's like, you gotta get a certain type of food. He was trying to get all that. I'm not doing that. He said, you go get him something. In my head, I'm like, yo, that's so fucked up. As a man, till you're a kid, that's fucking greedy. He bought his own self something. So if I didn't get anything from Sonic, he was just gonna have something for himself that night. He wasn't gonna worry about his daughter or his son at all. He was gonna worry about himself. To the point where I was even sad for my own brother because you could see it in his face. He was hurt. I was trying to get him some of my food, but he didn't want it. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Me and my dad will clash heads because he will feel some type of way about me having food in the house. Me just doing what I need to do to grow up, to be a fucking adult. Say I'm going to school, I got a job, I'm doing my chores. What else can you ask? There was times where I went to my friend's house because I didn't want to be a part of that delusional mind. I didn't want to be a part of that. Like, there was times where his girlfriend will come over. He was like, oh, we'll do something. In the beginning of school, I'm thinking he's going to buy the stuff, right? And guess who's buying the stuff? The girlfriend. Which I didn't care for, but it was just still the fact that you need another female to get your children something. You're the guy of the house, so you should be providing. As time goes, I end up ordering pizza, and I had to go get the pizza from the door. And then once I went to the door, he ended up closing the door on me so I won't get in. I literally stayed there. My phone was on 1. It was getting dark. I stayed there for hours until it was nighttime, to the point where I had no choice to go downstairs and ask my neighbor if I can call 911 so they can get me in the house, because I'm banging on the door and he wouldn't let me in for nothing. He didn't care. When the cops came, they said he don't have no choice to let me come in. So I ended up going in, and then we just didn't have a good relationship. It was a time where I went to school. He came in my room. There was no detergent in my room. He took my detergent that I got from my mother and he put it in his room and he locked it up. He had locks on his door so I won't get in his room. Around that time, I needed to wash clothes. We had like a washer and dryer there, so that's why I got my own detergent, because he was coming like, oh, I had to get my own. So when I get my own, he takes it and hide it from me. I'm stressing because I'm like, okay, and then what I'm gonna wear to school? You were taking my detergent, I can't even wash clothes. How sick are you? The relationship just started getting rocky. We were just arguing about something. When I went to my friend's house, I ended up coming back. We got in an argument and he was like, I'm gonna take your phone. And first of all, I'm like, you're not taking my phone. You didn't buy my phone. I'm like, you did not buy my phone. You don't pay the bill. You're not taking my phone. You're crazy. So, oh, I'm not. So he took my phone and he took my charger and he took my purse. He took everything and he put it in his room. He hid it. He locked the doors. So he had locks on his door. I had no choice to use the computer that I got from school and download like Text Now to get in contact with people, because he took my phone, because he's in his feelings. He's trying to control. And one thing about me, you're not going to control me in a way that you feel that you're going to control me. No, you shouldn't even want to control nobody, period. You're a grown-ass man. You're an adult at that. It's different things you can do to help them understand. Like, it's different things you could do for punishment. You don't control them, especially when you're not paying the bill and you didn't even buy the phone, first of all. I was like sad for a couple days. I started to get depressed there too. Nothing was working out. He was just too overly possessive, controlling. His mental wasn't on point as a father and as a man. He will do stuff, him and his girlfriend, but he wouldn't want to do stuff for his children. He'll say something, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, but then you're getting rentals, you're going to New York, and in order for you to do that, I have to go to somebody else's house so you can do that. And I just felt like it wasn't fair to me at all, because now I have to get out of my comfort zone and go to house to house to house. And that's the thing that I just came out of, with living with my mom, going to house to house to house. So now that I'm living at your house, I have to do the same thing. Who wants to go through that? Who wants to? And then again, you're taking my phone and I don't even have safety. So if something did happen to me, I don't got no phone. Who I'm gonna call? I had no choice to go back to my mother's house. Things were getting really bad. to the point where I asked him to go to the beauty supply stores before I go to my friend's house. He just had an attitude that day. I'm like, when I'm gonna get my phone? And he was like, oh, you're not gonna get it, this and that. Then I'm like for what? Like, why are you doing all this stuff like that? And he was like, oh, what do you mean? Are you talking back? I said, I'll take you right back to the house. You don't gotta go to the beauty supply store. I said, bro, you always doing too much. So even when I said that, he turned the car around and he went back to the house. He really went back to the house. And that's how sick and childish he is. As a grown-ass man, anything like that could just make you flip out. We go back to the house and we started arguing, going back to the house. I think he had anger issues because he was more heated than me. But then again, I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect me and talk to me any type of way. I don't care who you are. Sometimes when I get mad, I might curse at you. And he felt offended because I was cursing at him because he's the father. But yeah, you're the father, but you're not acting like a father. I'm sorry, you're not. Even for years after that, you wasn't acting like my father, but I just gave you a chance to make you prove if you was a father or not. And guess what? You didn't approve that. You didn't approve that contract, boo. I ended up cursing, and he was like, oh, you cursing at me? You cursing at me? So he ended up getting a belt. He was like, bro, I'll really hit you. I'll really hit you. He was like threatening me. And I'm like, yo, what you talking about? I'm like, yo, do it. Do it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. If you cross me, if you threaten me and all this other stuff, back then, it was to the point where I'm just like, I'm gonna talk my shit. I'm not gonna hit you first. I'm not gonna do that. But if you threatening me and you trying to make me scared, trying to think you're humbling me, I'm gonna talk my shit regardless. He got offended what I said. He strangled me up. Everything in my room was destroyed. We was fighting. And he ended up making my lip bust. When it all happened, I was so mad that he ended up putting his hands on me. I was like freaking out, like, did you really just put your hands on me? Did you? So I went to his room because his room was open, and I started looking for my phone and shit. I don't care. So I sneaked past to try to go get my phone so I can call her whatever. You know what he did? He tackled me to his bed and he started choking me, and he put in all his weight. He was big, like heavy set. He's suffocating me like, oh yeah, I got you now. I got you now. Yeah, what you gonna do? Like, he's really doing it to his daughter. I tell him I can't breathe, and he's still doing it. After that, I just felt like a heavy weight on my chest, because I'm just like, yo, both of my parents, and especially my father, the one that I thought that could show me that he was a different parent than my mother, he showed me the exact traits that my mother had. I felt like I was stuck in a cage that I couldn't get out of. No matter where I went, it was the same shit. And they try to make it seem like, oh, I was the problem. Like, I'm the problem, that's why they're doing it. Instead of saying, oh, you're the problem, why you're not trying to help anything, do anything to overcome the situation? In my head, I knew I wasn't the problem. But back then, he wanted me to feel like I was the problem. Back then, I couldn't really think for myself back then. I didn't have the ability to think differently or control my mind, because people was doing certain things to me to control my mind. Even if I knew the right answer, they'll project saying, oh no, it's not the right answer. You're wrong, you did this, you did that. It was just the point where, like, we really didn't talk to each other at all. Like, if I had to come in the house or something, I would just text him, but if it was in the house, we just wouldn't talk. He ended up giving me my phone. Like I said, he stopped giving me rides and stuff like that. I didn't have the money, the support. I was only left to just quit my job. And so once that happened, I was telling my mom, like, it's not good over here, that I can't concentrate, things just not working out. And she was like, you know, you could come this day. So I started packing my stuff. I had to keep some certain stuff there, but I took mostly all my stuff and put it in the car when my mom and her friend came to pick me up. And remind you, he was just coming in the house. It was like, yeah, you gotta go. I didn't want you here anyway. I'm glad that you're leaving. I don't know why I had you. He was saying all these hurtful things to me. It was just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not about to sit here and try to make anybody happy for me sticking up for myself. I ended up leaving with my mom. Months later, I got in contact with my aunt, and I told my aunt I needed the rest of my clothes. She can get in contact with my dad so he can bring me the rest of my clothes. So she ended up doing that, and he said that he could bring them. The day when he brought them, he ended up getting out of the car, and he just brought a whole bucket of all my stuff. He put it on the floor. So I was coming out of the house, and he was coming out of the car. We did not speak at all. He just literally put the bucket down and I grabbed it and I walked away and he left. It was no hello, I'm sorry about what happened. It was none of that. There was no accountability set at all. Then time goes by. My mom ended up marrying his friend that he known for a long time. He was just getting out of jail for 25 years. She ended up marrying him as soon as he got out of jail. I always thought that was kind of weird. Like, that's weird. Like, I would never do that. I feel like no one should ever do that. And I feel like that's just kind of crazy. But you just got to keep your thoughts to yourself. And if it ain't you, it ain't you. Let people do what they do. And that's that. That is. Okay. The only thing was suspicious about that, the husband was keep on trying to talk about why I'm not close to my mother and why I'm not close to my dad. He just kept telling me like, oh, why I'm not cool with my dad, he's good, this and that and third. And I'm just like, bro, we just not clashing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I'm going to heal it and I'm going to move forward. And when I do, there's no point of going back at all. But at that time, I still had lessons to go through and I still had some people that had to get removed out my path because he kept telling me, oh, I should be cool with him and stuff like that. You know, he want to talk to you, you know, what if we do a date? What if we could go out for a date? Like, it gets really set up-ish, like y'all plotting shit on the low that y'all not supposed to be doing. And we gonna find out later on in life. And I'm just like, nah, not going. I'm sorry, I don't want to. When he couldn't, it was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, plan B. I get a call from my uncle that came out of jail too, on my dad's side though. I talked to him since I was little. So he ended up calling me. And he was like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, I haven't talked to you. I was like, yo, I'm doing good. He's coming off like he happy for me. He wanna see me do better. And then he break up my dad. Oh, he went through things, you know, he's better now. So basically it was a plot to get me and my father closer. We were just talking about it. He was just like, you know, he's a good person. He miss you. He wanna see you do better. So I'm just like, you know, maybe he did, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the type of person where I give people chances. Even when I see the signs, I was giving people chances. Live and we learn, you know? So I'm just like, he might be right. So I'm gonna give him your number or I'm gonna give him to text you. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, he ended up texting me. We were just texting and stuff like that. Like, how are you? Oh, how are you doing? Good. Trying to talk to me about like what's going on in life. My graduation comes up. My mother and the husband invited him, but where I was sitting, my family was in the street, so I can see who's coming. The fact that my dad ended up coming to my graduation, I was happy. I was happy that he made it. The only thing that kind of like ticked me off, the fact that I didn't get to see him on my graduation. He just showed up with flowers and left because he had to go to work. But my thing is, you're trying to do something for somebody that's special. Could have told your manager, I need a couple hours, I gotta make it to my daughter's graduation. You just showed up part-time just to make it seem like you're a good father. A good father is when you're going to communicate with your child. You're going to congratulate your child. You're going to hug your child. It's not going to show up and leave. So as me and my dad is texting and talking, he's telling me like we should do something for Thanksgiving and go to Atlantic City and meet up with the family to do something. I was just a beginner of driving too. So I was like, I don't know if I want to risk that. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go. But then when it got closer, I'm just like, I'm not gonna go anymore. It's like, okay, that's cool, I get it. He was like, you know, you should have came, we had a good time. I'm like, oh, I'm glad y'all got a good time, but my safety is more important than anything else. We're texting, and I'm telling him I'm going to CNA school to get my CNA license. Remind you, I didn't ask him for no money. If anything, I'm independent. It was like, if I did ask him, like, oh, get your own this, get your own that. Or it was like, oh, I don't have it. Me and being independent, that always been in my blood. I was always like a go-getter. I had money saved up from McDonald's. He volunteered and was like, I'll put towards your CNA school. I'm like, okay, cool. He was like, how much is it? I'm like, $1,600. He was like, okay. I'll put $400 down. I'm like, okay, cool. You can pay separate. So it was $800 for the first week, $800 for the last week. A couple weeks later, he was like, and I'm gonna help you put another $400. For the first $400, he ended up giving me $400. The week that I needed the other $400, I'm just asking him, like, you know, do you think you could still put in the $400? He was like, no, I can't. I have to pay rent. If I didn't have to pay rent, I would have gave it to you. So I'm like, okay, cool. But my only thing that really just didn't sit right with me, and that's why I stopped talking to him and I pulled away, because as a grown man, you should keep your word. Why tell somebody something and you can't even keep your word? So what that told me was, he's still not the father that he presenting himself to be. I understand people do go through things, but it's the fact that you came in my life trying to build a relationship up again because you got your brother to call me to make amends with you, and it worked, and I gave you a chance, a final chance to prove that you can change. I'm not gonna say people can change, but people can elevate. It was like he still can't even be the father that he needs to be. Like, don't tell me something and not do it. And that's the only thing that was with him. Tell me something, you can't even do it. Why are you even here? What are you doing for me? A guy is a provider. A guy is going to protect. You couldn't even protect me. You couldn't even provide for me. You couldn't even give me good advice for real. The only advice that you said was, when I get older, I just hope my kids won't look at me different and understand that I had to go through stuff and this and that and the third. But that's because of the choices that you made. That's why. It just shows that he couldn't even be there for me even if he wanted to. I made peace with that. I know some people like, you know, people go through things. Forgive your father, forgive this, forgive that. Oh, definitely. Definitely. We're going to forgive him. But we're never going to forget. And that means you love people from a distance, and that's okay. People think that, oh, they still can have access to you because you forgive them. Then no, that's not true. Don't believe what anybody's saying. You protect your peace, your mind. Don't bend your boundaries for nobody. Don't bring your standards for nobody because they want you to, so they can get access to you. And I feel like the only reason why he probably even gave me money, so if I end up getting money in the future, he could come back and say, oh, remember I gave you this? And remember I gave you that? You get what I'm saying? You gotta pick 2 and 2. And it's not gonna work with me. If you guys like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Turn on the post notifications. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Love y'all.